Do you all know who Rachel Gilmore is? She's big on Twitter. Yeah, yes. Okay, cool. There's a 4-minute video here we'll watch.
This was a very good speech. It was accurate, it showed backbone, and I think Canadians can be super proud of it. So naturally, today, Trump is threatening all of Canada. Here's what he said.
Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Yeah, so what did Carney say that made Trump so mad? Well, he accurately diagnosed how the United States is behaving, and he effectively called for the middle powers of the world to unionize against this bully. Here are a few key clips.
We are in the midst
Unionize. This is going to be such a bad breakdown.
of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination. A country that can't feed itself, fuel itself, or defend itself has few options. When the rules no longer protect you, you must protect yourself. But let's be clear-eyed about where this leads. A world of fortresses will be poorer, more fragile, and less sustainable. Stop invoking rules-based international order as though it still functions as advertised. Call it what it is. A system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
This speech made headlines around the world, and it got a ton of praise. But here is the one thing that is holding me back from celebrating our Hugh Grant and Love Actually moment too aggressively. And to be clear, I am not trying to be a buzzkill or overly cynical, because if you hear what I'm saying, there's actually a hopeful message in it. As someone who has been a political journalist in Canada for a decade, I can
A journalist, a political leftist activist.
tell you that this speech, based on our government's actions to date, struck me as aspirational rather than a reflection of our real and current approach to the United States. And that is a criticism that I'm far from the only person to say, and it's one that Carney sort of acknowledged in his speech. Take a listen.
Countries earn the right to principled stands by reducing their vulnerability to retaliation.
And perhaps Carney has until now felt that Canada has not earned its right to take principled stands by reducing said vulnerability to retaliation. To give you some examples of where our actions haven't matched the tone of this speech, consider our silence as the Trump administration bombed speedboats.
Man, this is going to be like such a bad breakdown. That's what you're bringing up. It's going to be like we're not virtue signaling enough.
In international waters. Consider the fact that Carney called Trump's illegal removal of Maduro in Venezuela, quote, welcome news, despite the fact that this action.
This was a fact checker at one of those networks, I think CTV or Global. Imagine her checking facts. Like if this person had political power, man, she'd be, I think, way further left even than Trudeau.
Too trampled on international law. Consider our complicity in Israel's genocide in Gaza, when we could have done so much more to ensure that Canadian weapons parts aren't ending up in Israeli weapons by traveling through the United States. The United States that is aggressively supportive of Israel. Consider when we were silent on the United States sanctioning a Canadian ICC judge for being involved in the investigations of war crimes by American and Israeli officials.
It's like the politics of an 8-year-old child that's like, let's just share with everyone and be nice. It's actually hard to take this seriously. I don't even want to refute her points because it's pathetic. Like, this is an adult person. Her politics are nobody fight with each other.
fact that Carney has said he agrees in principle to join Trump's Board of Peace, which is his bizarro autocratic US-led version of the United Nations. Though we won't pay the $1 billion to be a permanent member for what it's worth. It is an undeniable fact that we have missed several opportunities to match Carney's rhetoric in this very good speech.
And do what? These people want Canada, by the way, to be a third world hellhole. If you listen to all that stuff, we'd be so poor. Like I've talked about, Canada's not doing well at all, I don't think, but we would be like, I think she wants to drive the country into poverty so we don't support America. So we don't support the big bad Americans. Let's just drive ourselves into misery and poverty and disease. Like these policies are batshit crazy.
Which is why my next question is, does this signal a shift in action? That is what I'm going to be watching for in the coming days and weeks.
It's never going to be enough for her.
Because Carney showed in this speech that he has nailed the diagnosis of Trump's behavior. So I'm looking forward to seeing if we will match the boldness of this speech with equally bold action. What do you?
Bold action, aka, are we going to drive the country into poverty because I think it'll look good on my Twitch stream? That's so fucking stupid. I knew that would be stupid though. And it certainly did not disappoint.